Hey guys, it's Robin, Artist Island Crafts, and welcome to my little yard update. We are getting into the winter of Florida and things tend to get a little bit dry, so be prepared. This is where my city and well water is going to be hooked up. I'm not sure why I'm showing you this. I recorded this video a few weeks ago. You guys wanted to see a hibiscus update, so here we are. I don't remember what I wanted to show you specifically in this video, so I'm just going to make it up as I go along. Now, some of my hibiscus are the same exact size as they were when I planted them back on Father's Day in June of 2020, but they are getting new leaves, so they are growing something. They're just not getting any taller. I mentioned before that there's a flat leaf kind like this, and then a curly leaf one, and it seems like that wiggly curly leaf one does much better. That is a seashell. I will be putting water in it on a regular basis for my ladybugs, because to have ladybugs in your yard, you need to have a water source and a food source. I am being overrun by aphids, which most of the time I can just pick them off, and I can pick off their their little droppings on their leaves and such, and I can get rid of their eggs, but they just keep coming back because, you know, they love hibiscus. Some of these have flowered really beautifully. The aphids like to lay their eggs in the buds before they ever come out, so I have to pick the buds off and I don't get flowers then. But I'd rather lose the flowers and the blooms. There's my noisy road. I think I just wanted to let you know that I'm doing a voiceover because the road is noisy. And in order to get rid of those aphids, I have to do that. So I'm going to get some ladybugs soon. You guys have seen the ladybug house already. This is actually, these plants have gotten much fuller and larger since I recorded this back in early December. They do get yellow leaves naturally on a hibiscus. It's normal. I touch them, and if they don't fall off, I leave them. If I touch them and they fall off, then they can just go to the ground. It's not harmful either way. As long as there's a bunch of green leaves, they will still, survive and thrive. So it all depends on what you want. One day I went through and I got rid of all the yellow leaves and left them on the ground so I can pretend like I'm having the leaf peeping season down here in Florida. We got fall leaves. They're yellow and on the ground. This is the guy that they don't seem to grow. Now, he's shot up really pretty tall, but he's not bushing out or anything. So I think I'm going to have to pick up some more just to fill in between the spaces if I want more of a hedge. But I also have to decide how long I plan on living here and how much money I want to spend in order to have this happen. This is like, this one's got stalks of branches and leaves with no leaves on it, and then tons of leaves. Now this guy is doing pretty good. He's been popping out these pink ones and the white and pink ones. I think this is the guy that even gets the yellow ones on him. And then there's these little fly guys that like the hibiscus too. So it's really kind of annoying trying to keep everything off of them and to keep them thriving. So I go out once or twice a day and I do a infestation bug inspection, and I go and I pick off whatever's there and take off any of the leaves, or the buds only last, the flowers only last for 24 hours. This one's at the end of it, so when I see it really kind of closing up and getting ugly, I just pick it off and I put it into my yard waste bin. I don't compost or anything right now, and it just goes out to the road. Now this guy, I know he's gotten much bushier and quite a bit taller and stuff, but he was the same size as everybody else back in June, so I think he's doing really well. They seem to get dark leaves and light leaves as they're going in and out, but oh, more little creatures living on them. Then they have some of these buds when you just touch them, they're not going to last. For whatever reason, they don't survive. They fall off in the wind. If you touch them, they fall off, but then other ones last really well. This guy's got a lot of nice red flowers on him. He does pretty good. But again, they get the little yellow things, so if it bothers me, I take them off. If it's a really bushy plant, I'll take it off. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Some of them are just like crinkly, wrinkly, and other ones I can tell that the aphids are eating them. But I might be able to see those little black dots. Sorry guys, but that's the poop from the aphids. So if you see the poop, you're supposed to remove it and keep an eye out for them in that area. For some reason, they love that one right there, that red plant, and they don't bother this guy too much. But then there's another one right after, a couple after it. I don't see him on this guy either. It's like certain hibiscus really love them. This guy's doing pretty good. More flies flying around. Oh, what am I showing you? I don't know. Oh, I'm showing you that's where the eggs of the aphids go into that area of that little bud. As I said, it's frustrating. Now, you're going to see a lot of this brown grass and everything, and I'll probably talk about it here and there later on. I have some more. This is like a hodgepodge of videos that I'm just going to put all together. And it's all the different little yard tours I have. Some are short videos, some are long. Some I'll do the voiceover. Other ones I actually talk on. But, yeah, so this guy does pretty good. He's holding his own. They just seem to get tall, and they stay really thin, and they don't bush out or anything. I've checked, when do you fertilize them? How do you fertilize them? What do they need? The different nutrients in the soil and stuff like that. And they're basically, you're supposed to just plant them and go. Now this guy, he occasionally will get aphids, so I do keep an eye on him. And he's gotten much larger than this one here. I still have the seeds that I bought last year that I haven't done anything with. I need to run up to Lowe's. I need to pick up some food for the ladybugs, which is generally different types of plants. I have a list of plants that they like to eat. Some of them are things like catnip and thyme and spices like that. And then cosmos. I planted the cosmos in the front, and I'll show you where I planted them. They're not growing very well yet, but I've planted them. This guy, he is so strong. His legs and branches and stems and whatever you want to call them, they're really strong and well. They're getting nice and thick, and their roots are in the ground nice and strong. This guy, he kind of scares me a little bit. He's getting there, but he keeps growing new leaves, so I know he's alive and doing well. He's getting there. So that's a flower that's got to go because it's got other things living in it. So they will lay their eggs in there, so when the babies hatch out, they'll have something to eat automatically right there in front of them. This guy didn't make it. Yep. He just didn't make it. I lost a total of 2 hibiscus plants out of, I think, 22 or 23, so that's pretty good. And I kept I have little shells all over, and I just keep adding water to them whenever I water. Yeah, see, now, and something just randomly eats them. I don't know if, like, grasshoppers eat them, because I found this giant annoying grasshopper in my garage when I replaced the water heater the other day. Oh, my God, he was huge. So I got him up. And that's like what the flowers look like at the end of their day. So you may as well just pick them. They say if they drop onto like a sidewalk or a driveway, they can stain it. So I bet you can use hibiscus flowers to dye fabric or something, right? Something a little bit fun and crafty wise. Oh, there's a little butterfly moth thing guy. Now that I have the hibiscus, I've been seeing more and more butterflies, which is really nice. Now this guy is the same one as the other ones that do really well, but for some reason at the end here, he's not happy. He did really great in the beginning, and then he's just kind of sitting there. And I think I wanted to show you here on how my neighbor's palm trees come out over into my yard. And what I was doing during this video is, you'll see me, I'm weaving them in to keep them on her side, but I also just go through and trim them all off. I have some aloe plants here, but I'm going to be transplanting them into the front yard, so they are mixed in with all the weeds. But they're doing good, so I just keep watering them too now. We don't get much rain in the winter. It's a very, very dry season here, so they'll turn brown, but once you start watering them again, they green up so nicely. Now, this on the fence is viney thing here. I had a box of mixed wild seeds from the Dollar Tree that I planted last year, and this guy grew. Now, I pulled him out last year and took him all off the fence. I cleaned everything on my side of the fence. You can see I'm just trying to tuck in that palm tree. But there was some still growing on her side of the fence that I couldn't reach with my little fingers through the fence. And she said she didn't care. It's her fence, and she didn't care if they grew there. So I'm like, whatever, I'm going to leave them. They get these orange pods. They are... Oh, they're quite large. They're maybe 2 inches long, and they have these giant red seeds in them, and they're really sticky. They're seeds that are about the size of a green pea. Now, I wouldn't guarantee it, but when I was looking it up to see what it was, they said it was edible. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to try to eat it. I figure it's pretty safe because the birds like them, and they tend to transplant them. I bet you these things are all over my neighborhood now because I find them growing in random places. The purple flowers are totally wild as far as I know too. They've been there for several years. They came not long after the fence was put in. So I don't know if it came with something she planted or whatever. But she has a little beach area over there. She like puts out a lawn chair and she plays music and they have a little fire pit and they have a little beach, whatever, right? Whatever makes people happy. I'm all for it. There's more on the fence here. And beyond that, I'm not sure. Now, this fence is really got a lot on it now. The top third of it is probably covered in these vines. As I said, this was probably about 5-6 weeks ago that I made this video. I just never got to the point of doing the voiceover. And it's come all the way over into here. Now, I'm going to show you all the way down there. That's where the bunny rabbits like to live. And I think that's what I want to tell you about. But okay. Now this fence, when they planted it, it doesn't touch the ground. In several places, it's like 4 or 5 inches where my yard is lower than theirs. And when they leveled their yard and added more in, they kind of sloped it down into my yard. Oh, look, fire ants. I figured you guys might want to see what a pile of fire ants look like. I've already taken care of it by now. I got some pretty good fire ant killer off of Amazon. You put this dry granule down and it really kills them even before you add the water like you're supposed to. But these guys, I put my finger in it, yes, but I have to be careful because I'm sensitive to them but not allergic. And when I get bit, like my finger will swell up and I'll get this giant old nasty thing on it and stuff like that. But fire ants are really scary. People can die from them. But all along here, I haven't hit it with the weed eater or anything because there's a bunch of rocks and stuff. So as I said, when they sloped their yard down into my yard, they left all the rocks on my side. Now, a lot of this is that bunny rabbit vine stuff. You can see it's really getting brown and dry. I'm waiting for most of it to dry, and then I'm going to get an electric thatcher, which is like a push lawn mower that digs all of this up and it pulls it all out of your yard. Last year, I was still dealing with the whole aftermath of losing Rob and everything, so I was just out there for weeks and weeks just doing the work myself. And, it was really good for me to get outside and to burn off some of that emotion and stuff. This year, nope, I'm going to do an electric thatcher. Because what the thing is right now, all the white flowers, when they fall down, they drop seeds. Those seeds get down into the ground and they come up next winter. So I am killing whatever was there from last winter. Oh, look. Yep, they're putting in the big screened-in porch on their pool finally. It's all done now at this point, of course. It's been many weeks. But, yeah, see all the little white flowers. I'm going to talk about my little orange tree in a little bit. That's a sour orange tree. That thing was probably about 2.5, 3 foot tall when we moved in 18 years ago. We thought it was never going to grow. It stayed small forever. Are there any ants in this one? I don't see any. I think that one's gone. Because, they just abandoned the mound. Sometimes you can take fire ants from one mound and put them on another because 2 colonies don't get along very well and they'll fight and kill each other, which is really kind of cool. But, yeah. See, look how big the space is and all the different rocks that are there. So I have to get through now. I have to clean out all of this. Sand spurs. Oh, my God. If you guys know about sand spurs, those will poke you and stick in your foot with the little legs of it, and ouch. So whenever I see them, I pull them out and I stick them in the trash can because when the sand spurs drop to the ground, they are like where the seeds are and stuff, so they'll grow more. And you really don't want them growing wild. They came over again from the neighbor's yard, so they'll blow by in the wind and stuff like that. But I noticed it for the very first time in 18 years along her fence. Even the field where this house is didn't have sand spurs because Robbie would run out there barefoot all the time and not have a problem. Then they started to get sand spurs and the world started to get crazy. Oh, look at the size of this rock. See, they leave things like that and I can't mow over there. And even when you're using the weed eater, it breaks it. So I was just waiting for the nastiness of the hot, hot summer of the 112-degree weather. And then now it's a little bit cool. So when the days hit that perfect 75, 80 and I don't have a lot of video stuff to do for you guys, I'll just go out and start working on that. Look how big that is. Like creatures, bunny rabbits can go through there. I'm not even going to think about what other creatures could go through there. So they didn't put their fence. I know the white fence is still on their property and there's probably 3 or 4 inches of this side, my property side of the fence that's their property. So they kept it away from that fence. Oh, look. Now these are just basic regular ants. I don't think they're fire ants. So, sometimes there's just ants, right? With the sour orange tree, because of the shade it provides and the citrus and the oranges that drop down and stuff, nothing really grows underneath this tree much. So this is like its own little world, its own little ecosystem. There's a giant, okay, fair warning, you will see spiders later on in this video. So if you're really not interested in seeing spiders, right now we're just going to see the webs. But I have a really large spider coming up at the end of the video. So, and I don't want anyone to freak out and not be warned ahead of time. So if you don't like spiders, you might want to stop when I get to the front yard. And because after I get out and you see the front of my house and the plants that I have there and my little, oh, see, there's an aphid. See, those are those nasty little aphid things. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm sorry. I don't know if they're good for anything at all, but I haven't seen anything they're good for, and they destroy things now. So he's gone. Oh, look. Oh, see what it looks like? They're white with these little black lines on it. I thought, oh, look, Robin's going to show you a smushed bug. Isn't she so sweet? But yeah, so there's a spider. I'll try to remind you at the end to go ahead and leave before we get to that point. I guess this video is just going to be full of bugs. But yeah, there's all kinds of things that live here. There's birds' nests up in there. So there's all kinds of little creatures and stuff. And you can't eat the oranges. They are so sour. It's a sour orange tree, of course. And I don't want to just take it down because it's like this little mini ecosystem where, other than the aphids, there's so many things that are living in there that aren't causing any trouble. And I just always kept it for the bird's nest because I love seeing all the little baby birds out in the springtime and stuff, and the little eggs that would drop down. You know, when they hatched out of the eggs, they dropped to the ground. So I've just left it, right? And at this point, I don't have the heart to do it. So whatever's going on, here's more of my bunny grass and all that stuff. And then you get into the Bermuda grass, which is really tough to mow and things like that. But it's okay. It's still better than bunny grass. Now these aloes are all brown, as you can see, but I've been watering them. I switched from the 50-foot hose to the 100-foot hose, and I water them probably every other day now when I do my hibiscus. In case, sometimes we get rain. Before a cold snap comes through, you get a bunch of rain. So there's my palm tree. Everything's getting so high up now that I can't even reach it. You have to have an extendable ladder to get up there. So if I want to have it trimmed, I have to have someone professionally do it. So it's fine. But even these aloes have grown so much. I'm going to take this whole front area that you're going to see in a second, and I'm going to clear it all out and just let the aloes, I'll move them all from the backyard, take out all these little babies here and just spread them out and just let them grow all along the front of the property. They're really great for bug bites and burns and sunburns and stuff like that. And I know there's different things you can do with the aloe juice and stuff, but I'm thinking I'll just let it grow. And as they have babies, you can put them in little containers and sell them on Facebook Marketplace for $5 each. So maybe I'll have a side aloe business, right? They'll grow anywhere. They're not particular. A lot of weeds that I still need to clear out. And as I said, I'm just going to wait until probably into February or March and start to trim everything up. This is what I call Rob's hibiscus. We planted this, I want to say we got it around February or so. So this one gets a lot of flowers on it. It gets a few hibiscus, but as you can see, it's a different type, a few aphids, sorry. But as you can see, it's a different type of flower than the ones in the back. This one is going to definitely be a nice bush, and it has grown really well. It drops a whole bunch of its leaves, turns yellow and drops them, and they get all green again. That's how I know that it's pretty okay before I even did the research on it. So that's what that looks like. He's getting bigger and bigger all the time. I plan on planting, well, here's my front little porch garden. There's my little, it's funny because what's going into there now instead of ladybugs is I'm going to show you some ladybugs coming up soon. But what's been going in there is the baby lizards. It gets in that little bottom caged area with the pine cones. First when oops, hello finger. I wanted to take a picture of it. I knew it was a lizard, and yet because it's only the head sticking out, that's the 4 o'clock that one of you guys gave me seeds for. The little head was sticking out. It looked like a snake. I'm like, oh my goodness, but it's a lizard. So all of these are still sitting there. They have a plan. They're thriving. They're okay. Eventually I'll get to the plant. I want to put a planter right across here. I think that's what I was showing you. This area, that's an old bench that Rob built, and it keeps the door from slamming open all the way against the house wall there. But I want to plant a big wooden planter in there and let them grow up to that little clothesline area and maybe make a giant wall of just greenery and flowers and stuff. Because they have these really pretty red flowers on it, so why not? Oh, there's that finger again. What's that finger doing? Let's look at this again from this angle. I also want to be scrubbing my driveway. It's just like one day everything was perfectly fine, and then I got into taking care of Rob and doing all of that, and then trying to survive afterwards, and the next thing you know, everything is just falling apart, you know. So the driveway needs to be scrubbed and stuff like that. This is where I want to plant all the extra flowers and such for the ladybugs. I plan on clearing out the rocks and stuff like that. Oh, we're going to see the ladybugs. Hold on. Okay, once we're done seeing the ladybugs, anyone who doesn't like spiders should go ahead to leave, because once I stop the voiceover and I bring up the other videos, then that big giant spider is going to show up. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys later. But everyone else, hang out with me for a little more. I have no clue what kind of spider this is, but look at the web. Oh my goodness. He's probably, that's a fat mama belly, I tell you. Oh my goodness, he got like checkers. Look at the legs. There's like checkers on the legs and stuff. I have never seen this spider. I'm assuming it's scary, 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 scary. Oh my goodness, does anyone know what that is? Creepy. I'm in Florida, by the way, if that helps. Ooh. And it's probably, the body is, it's windy out. And it's just huge. It's just freaking huge. Here's another little freaky spider living in my ecosystem out here. I'm not messing with him. No, no, no. If he's in this tree, he's probably doing something good. I told you guys, it's like a little ecosystem out here. It's got a little bit of everything going. I've been here 18 years and I've never seen anything like it. My little sour orange tree, it was such a little baby and now it's doing so well. Creating its own little habitat, its own little ecosystem in life. I find it best not to look too much, because if you look, you will find, and if you don't want to see, don't look. And this is what my traffic sounds like. It is like 4:30, so this is their basic rush hour, and it'll last like this till about 7 o'clock. But throughout the day, when kids get out of school and stuff, it sounds like this. There's usually a cop out here, so they kind of watch, make sure no one's speeding. Plus, there's a four-way right over there, so they have to stop. And right here is where the space shuttle, I can see the space shuttle go up. But it wouldn't be able to see SpaceX or anything today because it is all cloudy. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed my little garden tour and my rambling. One of the things I didn't mention is this was my temporary summer grass. So a lot of it's still green. A lot of it never grew in. So I'm going to leave a lot of the green, but I do need to come through and pull out the white flowers and some different weeds here and there, make sure there's no crabgrass, and then I will go ahead and plant, because as far as I know, mixed in there with the other stuff is some crabgrass. Like, that's crabgrass. These are these really difficult weeds to pull. You can get the roots sometimes, and sometimes you can't when you're just pulling them by hand. You have to get like a little shovel or something. But I'm gonna clear all that out. Get rid of all this crabby grass stuff. And then I'll be able to go ahead and put down the seed for the winter grass. Because the winter grass doesn't need the water or anything like that in Florida. It can do well in the drought. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna go ahead and give all my hibiscus and all the other plants a little bit of a snack. Keep them going. There's the noisy guys down there doing the pool. Little shot of the neighbor's yard. She likes palm trees. It's Florida, right? So that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you guys enjoyed your hibiscus update. Bye.